Hello and welcome to Exotic Gardening UK, Yorkshire Kris Weekly. And in this week's episode, we're going to be lifting and dividing Miscanthus giganteus herbaceous giant grasses, and we'll be using the Rootslayer. So I'm in the back area of my garden and I've got quite a large island bed here that's about 5 metres by 5 metres square, something like that. And in the centre of it, every year I have this huge grass growing called Miscanthus giganteus crossed with sacrofolius that grows at least 2.5 metres tall. It can get up to about 4 metres tall, so it's a true giant grass. And it's great, and it gives that really good jungle backdrop, and I do have it in other areas of the garden. But in this island bed, it's become too dominant in the centre. I want more light to come through, because it's south facing that way, so the light comes from here, and I want all the palm trees and all the plants beyond the island bed to get more sunlight and to open up this area as well. So I'm going to dig up the grasses, and I've waited until May because May is the best month really to divide and dig up sort of deciduous grasses. That is because the ground is a lot warmer now, and we will be going into early summer, not too long, and growth will be quick once these have been divided. If I did this in autumn, then they'll just sulk. The grasses will sit there all winter and possibly not come back very strongly. So I'm going to divide them, and it's hard to see what I'm doing here because I've got a lot of messy foliage about. But basically, I'm in the middle here of 3 original plants, and they've been cut back down to the ground already in most areas. I've still got a bit of height just in front of me down to my left that are about 1 metre or so high. So I need to cut them down to the ground so I can really see what I'm doing. But what I'm going to do is dig up the clumps entirely and then divide them. That's easier said than done. Basically, these have got really tough roots and rhizomes, and a normal spade will get through them, but it's such hard work. So what I've purchased is this, and it's called a Rootslayer. And it's basically, if we have a look at it in a bit closer detail, turn it upside down. At the bottom end, we've got this V shape, and that will sort of cling on to the roots and to the duck, filling either side when it goes down into the soil. We've got serrated edges, and it's pretty sharp, and it's extremely tough. And it's got these side parts here, so you can put your boot on the side as well. So I'm going to use this to actually chop through the roots, and hopefully it'll be a bit of an easier task, because like I said, this is a really physical job, this, especially when I've got such a large amount of grasses to divide. So take your time if you're doing this, if you haven't done this before, because it is very physical, like I said. So I'm going to tidy up around this area first of all, and then I'm going to get the Rootslayer out and start dividing the grasses. So I've spent the last hour or so completely clearing this bed of pretty much all the weeds, quite a lot of the debris, and we've been able to see this Miscanthus grass, and we can see in various areas we've got new shoots coming. We've got the small pink shoots that are just emerging, and we've got some green foliage as well, and we also can see the clumps. So over here we've got quite a long sort of crescent-shaped clump, which is probably about 1 metre or so across, and just off camera, probably down here, we've got another clump about 8 centimetres by about 30-40 centimetres, and tiny other fragments as well from where I lifted a large clump that was here. Now, a good thing about lifting clumps like this is it allows you to rejuvenate the plants, because originally there was 3 small plants planted in a triangle in this area, and they've grown outwards and the centre sort of died off. So that's why we've got sort of crescents going around this side and a big empty area in the middle. So the next job, now I've cleared all this, is actually to start lifting it. As I've mentioned, very difficult with this plant because it's got big thick rhizomes, much like the bamboo just behind here. So I'm going to use the Rootslayer, which I've not used yet. I'm going to use this because it should be a lot easier to cut through the roots and make the job a lot easier compared to using a conventional spade. Right, so let's give it a go. Got to be careful not to cut through any irrigation pipes like this one here, this sprinkler. But let's just get in with a spade and go down. Well, that was easy, but I can't have gone through many of the roots yet. So I'll just start by going round a part of the clump here. So it's a bit of a semicircle. Yeah, I hit a root there, so I have to cut through that. That's not too bad at all, in fact. Yep, straight through. And now I'll try to get across this way, so going through right through the heart of this grass. You can feel the resistance there. But that has gone through much easier than when I did the last miscanthus grass with a spade. And it can be quite brutal here. All I'm trying to do is dig up a sizable clump that I can manage. If I did it all in one massive piece, then it'd be far too heavy to lift out. So I'm doing it in clumps that I know I can manage. As you can hear, I'm starting to get out of breath because it's obviously quite physical work, this. There we go. You can hear the squeaking where we're going against the woody rhizome and roots. Put a bit of weight on. Yeah, that's very tough. So it might be some time. Now it's not just the roots of this miscanthus that I'm actually cutting through at the moment. I've got this great big Phyllostacis parvifolia bamboo here that sent out runners, and these are big thick stems now, and I think I've hit a couple of those that are going in this direction because it's very tough at this point. I can use the saw side of the spade blade just to basically go around and cut through those roots, and I think that's done it. So now hopefully I can just lever this clump out. Obviously it's still quite a big clump, but that has come out pretty well. Yes, there's a lot of bamboo roots in there as well. That's a nice big healthy clump. So what I'll do now, got all this growth on this side, a little bit of growth here, so I might not need this part here, but I'll split this up again and I'll pop this up and I'll show you that now. Now, literally months of no rain, it's decided to thinking about raining now as I'm filming this, but I'll still carry on. So basically I've just cut through that division, and you can see this part is not too big really, so that is a nice small plant. Don't need all this soil, so I'll just take away a bit of it. You can see the nice pinkish red shoots there, and I'm just going to pot that up. This pot's actually a bit too big, so I'll get a smaller pot and put that one in. And then this nice part here, much heavier, got lots of growth points here and on this side, and if I lift it up you can see here I've got loads of white roots that we've cut through. These are the hard woody rhizomes that we've cut through, lots of nice fibrous roots as well. And if I turn around again, you probably can see we've got some of the bamboo chunks as well, so that's why it's quite difficult to get through, but the Rootslayer did pretty well on that. So this, I'm just going to pot up, so I'm going to get some multi-purpose compost and just backfill around these chunks. So that will just wedge in there. Put some compost around, and I'll be selling these at my open days, but you can obviously replant these as well. So a section, you can leave a section in the ground like this, or you could divide, turn them round a bit as well, so the new growth is in the middle rather than on the outside to backfill this area. And you can transplant around the garden at this time of year, sort of in mid-spring. Right, it's starting to rain now, so I'm going to pot these bits up. Thanks for watching this edition of Exotic Garden UK. Join me next week, I'll be doing more in the garden.